Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Nyla and I am so glad that you decided to click on this video. Today's video is a little bit different. I am going to be talking about my birth story. If you don't know, or if you haven't watched any of my previous videos, I have 3 children. We have 2 boys and 1 girl. Liam is 7, Noah is 3, and Greer, it will be 6 months old next week. So if you're interested in hearing about birth stories and just want to hear how Greer came into the world, then just keep on watching. So my birth story is a rather pleasant birth story. We had a scheduled cesarean because do y'all hear them in the background? So with Liam, we call him LJ. So with LJ, he was born in 2013 and I labored for 13 hours, only got to 1 centimeter with Pitocin. And so my doctor was like, at this point we need to consider cesarean. And of course, it had been a long day. I was tired and it was my first child. So I was just anxious to see him. So, we went on ahead and had cesarean and now he's, here of course. Then with Noah, we had a scheduled cesarean again. I did, kind of dabble with looking into a VBAC, but, we just went on ahead with the cesarean. And so in between Noah and Greer, we did have a miscarriage, but we, of course, got pregnant again with Greer. I will say I wasn't sure if I wanted to try for another child because the miscarriage was very hard. But at the end of the day, when Rick and I discussed it, we were saying, we don't want fear to hold us back because God did not give us the spirit of fear. So, things happen. And God blessed us to have Greer. We were so excited because, as you know, we have 2 boys and they are very energetic. We would have been fine with another boy, but we were so glad it was a girl. So on to the day that she was born. So Greer was born on March 24th. And a lot of people ask me about her name. I just love that it's unique. It's spelled G-R-I-E-R. And I cannot remember where I heard it, but I remember looking up the meaning and fell in love. Greer was born March 24th, and that is when the pandemic shut everything down. I want to say the kids had been out of school for maybe a week by that time. They had already, it might have been 2 weeks, because I know that with my last couple of appointments, Rick wasn't allowed to come in. So, but anyway, we get to the hospital and it was like a wild goose chase from the jump, because they had shut down certain entrances to the hospital. And so the way that we knew to go, that was, that wasn't an option. We got turned right on around. So we had to go through like the emergency room entrance, and then we were given a mask and asked, all the standard COVID questions, and then finally we were sent up. Y'all, my anxiety was on 10 because they had us walking through the emergency room, and people come there because they are sick. But it was fine. We get to labor and delivery, get checked in, and into our room. One thing that I do remember clearly is the first nurse that we encountered, she asked for Greer's name, and the little board that's in the hospital room, she wrote "Happy Birthday Greer" on there, and I just thought that was so special. So, we get dressed to the hospital gown, put the socks on, and we wait. Of course, that just made me even more anxious. And then we found out that our cesarean time got pushed back because the couple that was there before us, because there was a couple that was signing in when we got there, they were actually late. So they did their cesarean first and then ours. So, you know, anesthesiologist comes in. He asks about anything, asked if I had any questions. And one of my things was with Noah, well, first of all, with LJ, I had an epidural. With Noah, I had to have a spinal. So, if you don't know, an epidural is like a constant line in your back, like there's something attached. That's the best way I can explain it. And then with Noah, I had to have a spinal. It's like just one shot and then you're numb. And so with Greer, I had to have the same thing. But with Noah, the spinal, I didn't know that it was going to make me feel very nauseous. And so it felt like my throat muscles were super relaxed and I wasn't going to be able to throw up if I needed to. Of course, you know, I'm here and everything's fine, but I was so afraid that I was going to suffocate because that's what it felt like. Like I was going to throw up and my throat muscles were so relaxed that it wasn't going to come up. But so I told the anesthesiologist about that, and he was like, oh, well, they probably put the shot a little too high, and I remember that when it's time for me to do it. So we get to the back, and unfortunately, your significant other cannot be in the back with you when you get your spinal. So the nurse had to hold my hand because if you know me, you know that Rick is my rock. Like, he can keep me calm and all that good stuff. So the nurse was holding my hand, and I just kept saying scriptures to myself while you know, it was happening. And I mean, who else wouldn't be anxious? That's somebody going into your back, like near your spinal cord. So that's why I was so nervous about it. But you know, everything worked out fine. I did have the same feeling, but it wasn't as bad. The only difference was with this spinal, I got really hot. They had to put a cold compress on my head because, y'all, I can't even describe how hot I was. Like, that was a different feeling. So Rick comes in, and just like the other two births, we start singing gospel songs, Thai tribute to be exact. We started singing because that's something that can calm my nerves and keep me calm and not focus on the fact that this man is about to cut me open. So, you know, everything goes well. We finally hear her cry, and they check her out. I'm laying there. They finally bring her over to me so I can see her. And of course I can't touch her yet because my arms are, you know, out to the side. And they take her to run some more tests while he finishes up the surgery. I'll get back to recovery, and I had Ricky go with Greer. Like, don't stay with me, go with my baby, because I have seen way too many Lifetime movies. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So again, it seemed like it took forever, but when she got there, you know, I finally got to hold her. I immediately nursed her, and just, you know, you anticipate this moment for so long. You feel them move inside you all this time, and it's there. The feeling is indescribable to finally place your eyes on your blessing, and especially knowing that she was our rainbow baby. So we get to our hospital room. We immediately FaceTime the kids and my mom, because my mom was gracious enough to come stay at our house so the boys could, you know, still play outside and all that good stuff while we were in the hospital. And then, you know, they can sleep in their own beds and all that good stuff. So, you know, our hospital stay was pleasant. Our nurses were pleasant. And that was a big deal for me, because when I had LJ, I had a really bad experience in the hospital. You know, you have nurses who are very, some nurses who really push for breast is best. And LJ I knew that he was hungry. And so she just made me feel really bad for choosing to give him formula. and she made me feel like I wasn't doing something right because he kept crying. And so that was very traumatic. And so that is why I ended up moving doctors with Noah. And then I did not tell you that I had to change doctors again 30 weeks into my pregnancy with Greer, because they came up with some new rule at my doctor that I had with Noah, that if your BMI was a certain number, that you were considered high risk. And with being high risk, I would have had to deliver at the hospital that I delivered LJ at. And that was a no-no. While yes, I know there are probably different nurses and doctors, I just did not want to go back there. And so I changed doctors. The doctor I had with Noah, she was great, loved her. And even she was upset about the new rule, because of course she didn't want to lose me as a patient. But you know, they made arrangements for me to be transferred to another doctor's office so that I could deliver at the hospital that I did deliver Greer at. So like I said, it was very pleasant. Oh, I do want to say, I was also sad because the hospital that I delivered Noah in, their omelets were off the chain. My friend Ashley, she had her daughter like a week before Noah, and we still joke about how those omelets were the bomb. And it's been 3 years. So we had a wonderful experience. Of course, I was extra. I packed a lot. I'll insert a clip of how I packed everything because I was really proud about that. And yeah, I said we had a pleasant experience. The nurses were nice. I was able to successfully nurse Greer. But I also felt comfortable in asking for formula if I wanted to use formula. Like, nobody made me feel like you gotta breastfeed. So, you know, that was a plus for me. I will say I had to deal with a lot of swelling. Unfortunately, I dealt with postpartum hypertension. All through my pregnancy, my blood pressure was fine. I pretty much always have, I always have good blood pressure. With the only other time I had high blood pressure was after I miscarried. Now I will say that during that period I had high blood pressure, but there was also a lot of stuff going on at that time. That's another story for another day. One of those things being the government shutdown. So imagine that. Government shutdown, miscarriage, and we also had a car wreck. But another story. Anyway, so I was placed on blood pressure medication, and I am still on it, and hoping to get off. And that was, just a postpartum thing. I did not know it was a thing until this time, because like I said, it was fine with LJ, it was fine with Noah, and it was fine all through my pregnancy. That is my birth story. Like I told you, we had a pleasant experience. I would recommend that hospital to anybody, but also, my previous hospital as well with Noah. If you enjoyed this video, if you would please give it a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing, because I would love to have you. And make sure you hit the notification bell so you don't miss any other uploads. And I will include some pictures of Greer's first couple days here on this earth. Our wonderful rainbow baby who completed our lovely and blessed family. I will see you next time, guys. Peace out.
A faded photograph feels like 100 years ago. Life was easy then, or is it just the way the mind your copy from the photo booth that day. Time is a thief.